Hello YouTube. Today is Monday, August. What was the date today? 28th. The year 2023. The time now is world clock. Tokyo 22:16. 10:16 p.m. As usual, my daughter is on the first floor getting ready for go out, getting ready to go out for her exercise. Her exercise is walking for about 35 minutes or so, and I make the most of this opportunity, and I make it a rule to practice my speaking while she's out because I'm alone at home and it gives me more freedom. As I explained many times in my previous videos, where I am is, it's a pretty spacey place. I'm in the living room. I'm on the second floor, and there is a kitchen next to the living room. And just behind of me stands a counter, which is attached to the sink or other kitchen utensils, kitchen gadgets, kitchen stuff like stoves. Is it okay? Do you say stove, and sink, and a counter, and so forth? It's spacey, but the only pitfall of this place is that it's too open. There is no door or whatsoever anywhere, and so I cannot be secluded. I cannot be completely alone. I cannot be completely isolated. But when I want to concentrate on doing something, I really want to be alone, but I cannot because this is the most convenient place I can be. And I take care of my dogs, and dogs are always here, and I always cook, and it's okay for me to stay here to study while cooking. It's really useful. It comes in handy. Is it okay? Comes in handy. Oh, anyway, there are a lot of things that I wanted to talk about today. And the first one, I just jotted down something on the notebook so that I can take a look at it, and so that it can remind me of what I really wanted to talk about. And the first one, today I already uploaded one video while what was I doing? I was reading some reviews for this item called Kindle Paperwhite. Do you have one? Actually, I don't, because I can make do with my iPad. I can use my iPad as a Kindle Paperwhite. A device such as Kindle Paperwhite, and since it costs around 13,000 yen, Japanese yen, it's pretty expensive. I don't want to spend any money on reading because I buy many books, and I was reading some reviews, but I was reading some reviews of this product because while I was reading a book this morning on my iPad, as usual, somewhere back in my mind, somewhere in the back of my mind, this some, I don't know, I wasn't able to concentrate on reading because I was thinking about something else, which was, I thought, what would it be like if I had a device such as Kindle Paperwhite, because I was reading a book I bought from Kindle, and I thought that would it be easier for me to read a book, or would it be more convenient, or something like that. And for some reason I was thinking about that while I was reading a book, and I wanted to just check the page of the Kindle Paperwhite. And since I have been studying English, I thought, why not I check the review in English on Amazon.com, and I did. And I found the very good two very good reviews. They showed up. They were shown on the top. These two were two of the top reviews. And since they were very good reviews, it was very easy for me to read, and it was enjoyable. It was even fun to read those reviews, and I understood what a Kindle Paperwhite might be like. Okay, since I've never got one in my life. No, this is not true. I have bought a cheaper one before, like several years ago, or even more than several years ago, but it was the cheapest one. And since it was the cheapest one, I didn't find it as good as I imagined it would be. And soon after I bought it, I resold it. And just after I bought it, it was gone already, because the sooner I bought it, the better. The sooner I sell it, the better, right? Because if you leave it in your house for a long time, it can be outdated, right? Or out of, I don't know how to say, out of mode? No. Out of fashion? Out of order? No, it doesn't have to be out of order, right? I don't think it could be out of order because it's still new. But if you don't think that you are going to use it, I think you should sell it sooner. Then you could sell it at much higher price, right? And I did it. So I don't have any Kindle or whatsoever at home now, but I could make do with my iPad to read an ebook. Yes, and I videotaped myself talking about the reviews and something like that. And I was also wanted to explain how to exchange the ink of this ballpoint pen, because when I was writing something while I was preparing for this speaking practice, not particularly this, but because writing is good for your speaking practice. It can be your speaking practice as well. I mean, writing and speaking both are active. Both are active, right? Not passive. So if you really want to improve your speaking skills, you should not only practice speaking, but also you should practice writing also. And I used to write a lot, much more than I do now. But I think writing is key. Just recently I began to feel that writing is key to improve my speaking skills. I should do something active if I want to be a good English speaker. This is true. And yeah, I videotaped myself the first video for today already, and I uploaded it to YouTube, and I was talking about the reviews that I had read about of the Kindle Paperwhite, and I was really impressed by those reviews because they were well written, and they're precise and concise, not redundant at all. Both have no sentence which are both don't have sentences which are redundant, and they are well structured, well organized, well written, and I quite enjoyed reading them, and I wished I could write as well as they could, because I love writing. And today I was writing for the description of my YouTube video. If you would like it, if you would like to take a look at it, you can just take a look at the description of each video. Some explanations are very short, but I tend to write pretty long stories for each video as a description. And once I started writing something, I tend to be into it, and I can't stop it. And I really love writing, and I can say that I'm a very good writer or something like that. But I love writing because this is something that I can do alone myself, right? I'm a kind of person who likes to do something can be done alone. I'm a loner, and I play music, I read, I cook, and I watch TV, not TV nowadays, but I watch dramas and movies, and but everything, these are things that I can do alone. I can enjoy alone, right? I can say that I have many friends. To be honest, totally honest with you, I don't have any friends now. I don't have any special friends. I always talk to my daughter. Daughter is the only person I can talk to at the moment. I think I should have friends if I want to improve my speaking, because it would be more fun, I guess, if you have friends and if you have someone to talk to talk to in English, right? And the English is just a tool for communication, right? I don't think I'm a very sociable person, but still, I think I'd better, or I might, it's better for me to find someone to talk to in English in the very near future. And I really hope that I can make a good friends. All right, and as I said yesterday, I stopped studying for the test. I mean, I was supposed to take a test. I haven't applied for it yet, but I was just thinking about taking the test. The test is called step test, or eiken in Japanese, and which stands for Society of English Step Test, Society of Testing English Step, English Proficiency or something. I don't remember it correctly, but anyway, and I was thinking of taking the step first grade. First grade is the most difficult one, and there it consists of two stages. One is the writing test, and the second is the speech test or speaking test. And the writing test is very difficult. I mean, you have to memorize so many words and expressions, and many of the words the test is going to have is the ones that you come across when you read something pretty difficult, like Newsweek, Time, or newspapers, novels. And it is notorious. People say that it is notoriously difficult. It is unbelievably difficult. It is stupidly difficult. But the more I study for the test, the more vocabulary I gained. The more I realize that it is very, very useful. I mean, if you gain your vocabulary by studying for the test, step test first grade specifically, and then it can make it easier for you to read those things like novels, newspaper, and magazines, whatever, web stories, whatever, because such very difficult vocabularies are actually ubiquitous. And if you want to expose yourself in the sea of English or real world, you should know such difficult vocabulary. And studying for the test is really helpful in order to, for that purpose, okay? And so that's why I'm glad that I have studied for the test until yesterday. But I stopped for the test because the main purpose of my studying this time around, after many unfruitful attempts up until recently, I actually started studying English again when I was 28, when my oldest daughter was 7 and she was about to, she already started her elementary school. first grade. She was first grader, and I thought that it might be a good opportunity for me to start something, because in Japan, April is the month when everything starts. I mean, schools start, and everything starts in April. It is really refreshing for us. I mean, April sounds really, really refreshing, and it makes us want to start something anyway. That's why in bookstores in April there are many, many textbooks, because it's April. New learning courses are starting, right? And they are enthusiastic about starting something. But so the bookstores are full of such textbooks, okay? The first month of the school year, everything is going to start, right? And people are so refreshed, and they're really enthusiastic about starting something. And then after 2 months, 3 months, no, a little earlier than even a little earlier than that, the enthusiasm will decrease, and you can find less textbooks stuck at the bookstore shelves. So this is something that always happens in Japanese bookstores. Yeah. And that was May when I started studying English, and I had miscarriage then. I was a little bit sick, and I was down. I was blue because I lost my third child. He or she wasn't born yet, of course, because the baby was only the fetus, okay, a fetus, and I even couldn't see his or her though. But one day, I don't know, I was bleeding, and I went to the hospital, ladies' hospital, gynecologist, and the doctor said to me that I was miscarriaging, and I couldn't believe it, and I didn't want to believe it either, but I had to get an operation, and the operation itself is a very quick one, and it was over soon. And after I got back home, I had to stay in bed for a while. I had to take good care of myself because I had miscarriages, or I had miscarried. I don't know. I got miscarried. I don't know how to use this word actually. So this is the word that I will have to look up in the dictionary after this program practice. And this is what is good about this practice also, because every time I review what I recorded or what I videotaped, as I review, or as I watch myself speak, as I am watching myself speaking English, I have a smartphone in my hand, and I just check all the words and expressions that I couldn't say, or I didn't know how to say. So this is very this is very good practice for me, okay? Videotaping myself is one thing, because I am totally improvising this. And this this is another thing. Not this is another thing, but this is the very thing that I never be able to do when I just started studying English. And after I studied English, at first I was listening to the radio program, NHK. It's a Japanese broadcasting company, which is pretty famous, pretty world famous, I guess. So everyone in other countries, not everyone, but it is pretty famous. It is world famous worldwide. So many people would know it, or it should be many people are familiar with this name NHK though, I guess though. And I was listening to NHK English language radio program, okay, for a year. I was studying English, but my level was the lowest, and English, they taught us for the particular program was the one that 7th graders learn at school. 7th graders in those days, children start learning English from 7th grade, which means that the English program I was listening to was the easiest one. All right, and I studied I was studying with the program for 1 year, and then I took part in my second year. I'm talking about my second year though. From the second year, I decided to take part in a kind of community or club where many housewives gather once a week and they chat. They all love English though, and some are advanced students, and some are housewives who have experienced, who have been abroad, who have studied abroad, and some like that, okay? And I was the only one. I was still a beginner because I was just studying English for a year, and the level was the lowest, and until then almost I had never talked to real foreign people, and it was almost my first time to speak to our teacher, who was a Canadian woman. And on the first day for the club, I couldn't even say a word. I was told to introduce myself, but my voice was small. I had probably practiced how to introduce myself before taking part in the club, but I was so nervous and I didn't know how to pronounce words correctly, and I didn't know how to make myself understood in English effectively either. So I said something, but the teacher didn't catch what I was saying, and I was asked to say it again, and which is a bit embarrassing and humiliating, but there was nothing I could do about it because I was a total beginner. And then the more I took part in the club, and as I took part in the club more often, I began to prepare for each lesson. Like I was better prepared for English sentences that I might be using during the class. And all the sentences I came up with beforehand, and I memorized it and went to the class and spoke them. But I couldn't communicate with my teacher because all I was able to say was all those sentences that I had come up with or I had prepared beforehand. But the teacher was so surprised to see me starting speaking so many English sentences. And she was quite surprised at me, but that was because I was well prepared. But other than that, I wasn't able to communicate with the teacher because my listening skills were not good, and that was the only sentences that I was able to speak anyway. And where was I? Yes, at that time, my biggest concern was that I actually don't know how to end the sentence. I was like, what if I can't end my sentence? So it means that I cannot improvise at all. And for a long time after that, even many years after that, that was still my big concern, and I was not confident at all. So whenever I had a chance to speak in English, I had to prepare some English sentences so that I can finish speaking. I can finish each sentence. But now I am totally improvising, and without knowing how to end each sentence, I just try to speak. I think all those experiences I have been through made me strong in that sense. Although I can't speak as fast as I wish, or I can speak as good as I can in Japanese, which is my mother tongue, but what I'm doing now is something that I had never imagined I could myself a long time ago when I just had started studying English. But now, although I'm not good at it yet, anyway, without any preparation, I can just start to say something, and maybe I'm the one who is quite enjoying seeing myself how to finish each sentence. I mean, because yeah, sometimes I get stuck, and sometimes I can't. I have to fumble for words with vain, and I just continue talking without knowing where I should go. But I'm more and more, I find myself quite enjoying doing this, and I'm even videotaping myself and watching myself, right? My daughter is back. Talk to you soon. Bye.